so this is another video of what would happen if two characters met each other. Now, this is not a fight video. This is more like what if two characters met and, they teamed up and thought of one another. This is kind of a video series that's kind of inspired by a series that Chris does. He's done 2 videos on it, I've done 2 videos on it, and yeah, he did his recent one, and it's kind of our thing, is like one of us does a video, then a few weeks or months down the road, another one of us posts the video as well. So, here's the other one. Here's my next one. What would Spider-Man think of Danny Phantom? Now, Spider-Man and Danny Phantom have... You'd probably be thinking, well, they don't really have a lot. One has spider powers, the other has ghost powers. But Danny and Spider-Man are probably... These guys are so alike. Both of them got their powers at a very young age. And both by scientific accidents. Keep in mind, like, Spider-Man was bitten by a radioactive spider at a science exposition, and he was bitten by a radioactive spider. And Danny was given his powers by a lab accident in his parents' ghost portal malfunctioned. And also, they were both the outcasts. They were both both of them were social outcasts. They didn't have a lot of friends, and they have their own bullies. At one point, it was Flash Thompson for Peter, and we have Dash, Flash. See where I'm going? And also, they've had villains very similar to one another, like Skulker, Kraven the Hunter, Norman Osborn, and Vlad Masters. Even Danny Phantom had a 30-minute episode that's pretty much the Clone Saga in one sitting. It's literally the Clone Saga, and Danny and his new cousin Danny Phantom is Ben Reilly. Let's face it. So yeah, this is I thought Spider-Man and Danny Phantom had so much in common. So, what would it be like if Peter and Danny actually met in a story? So, how I can imagine Pete and Danny and Peter thinking of one another. Like, I could definitely see Danny having some hero worship for Spider-Man. Like, I could see Danny literally oh my God, I'm fighting alongside Spider-Man. I could definitely see Danny worshipping Spider-Man, like, oh my God, it's Spider-Man. I've been a huge fan of you. You're like an idol to me. And Pete would be like, oh, that's cool. And I could see Peter, seeing all the power that Danny has, like, oh, cool, ghost powers. I don't really go for the supernatural mumbo jumbo, but hey, that's pretty cool. And also I could see how they kind of have I could definitely see Danny and Pete having a conversation of basically how Peter is telling, not telling him who he is, but telling him, how his life was in high school, and seeing how much Danny's life was almost akin to his. Even though, Danny wasn't really the brightest person, he had the same kind of social stigmas that Peter had. I could definitely see, Peter kind of respecting that. I could definitely see, I could see them talking about their rogues, Peter, wait a minute, you've got a guy who hunts you relentlessly for some kind of honor thing. Ooh, I know that feeling all too well. And you also got a guy who knows your secret identity and attempts to turn your life inside out. Man, we are so alike. So, I could definitely see them battling a team up between Vlad and Norman, or Nocturne and Mysterio, or Skulker and Kraven, even. There are so many combinations with this, and I think, like I said, even though their powers are so much different. I mean, the only thing they have kind of they kind of share in common is that they both have, the ghost sense and the spider sense. That's about it. But I could definitely see Danny learning so much from Peter, from Spider-Man, he could learn, a little more power with his, responsibility with his power, and, I'm sorry, I know I'm doing a lot of ums and ahs, but I'm just kind of thinking this video idea just came up to me in 3 minutes ago, so there's not a lot of planning to go with this video, so, yeah, but regardless, I think these two would play off very well with each other. I don't think this would be the age-old, I don't know you don't know me kind of fights. I could definitely see Danny encountering Spider-Man like, oh my god, it's Spider-Man. And I think Spider-Man would be like, oh, okay, they say this Danny Phantom guy, they say he's a menace, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I've been there before, you know? So I could definitely see that. Like, people would be thinking, oh, Spider-Man would attack Danny because he thinks he's a menace. No, I honestly think that Peter would give Danny the benefit of the doubt because he's been there. He's been slandered by the media before. So I think he'd be like, if this guy's getting so much bad rep from the media, we got a lot more in common than I'd like to believe. So I could definitely see that. I could definitely see like them talking about their love interest, like Danny talking about Sam, and I don't. Even though Peter wouldn't mention him because he'd still keep his identity secret, I think Peter would be mentioning Mary Jane and Gwen, and his friends, and just so much. I think they would have so much in common and just be talking to one another just for hours of how. Danny could be learning so much from Peter and his experience and how much they mirror his and how he can try to turn his life around from it. So, yeah, I could just see them going on and on about one another. Now, I could definitely see, like, Danny, like, if he'd just be telling Peter, like, man, you've got, like, the weirdest foes. You've got them all basically, they're either animals or goblins. And, I could see Peter like, well, at least my villains don't, when I try to punch them, they don't phase, my fist doesn't go through them. My fist doesn't phase through them. So I could definitely see them joking around with some of the villains like that. But yeah, not a lot much more of that, but I could definitely see like some hero worship and then some general like friendship between Danny and Peter. But yeah, that's just how I see it. So. As always, that's how I see this, this friendship. I wouldn't see it like Spider-Man making Danny his sidekick. I don't see it at all. But definitely, like, kind of mentoring him for a little bit. Whether Danny is in New York or Spider-Man's in Amity Park or wherever this could happen. But yeah, that's how I see this meeting going down in all occasions like that. So you guys tell me, what do you think would happen? What would you think if what would Danny Phantom and Spider-Man think of one another if they ever met? Would they like each other? Would they hate each other? What kind of team up would you expect them to have? What kind of villains would they battle? All kinds of stuff like that. Remember, this isn't like a fight video, so this is not, I repeat, not a fight video. This is just basically what would happen if they just met up, teamed up, or just met to shoot the shit. Stuff like that. So, anyway, and as always, thank my good friend, Mount Vernon Kid, for coming up with this idea. Him and I come up with these crazy ideas, and we just got to do these videos. It's not going to be a recurring thing, but whenever I post one or Chris posts one, it's kind of like we respond back, no matter how long it takes. So it's kind of our thing. But, yeah. Anyway, I'm out.